Mia lived entirely for the screen. If a moment wasn't filmed, filtered, and monetized for an audience, it didn't actually happen. Her baseline motivation was a relentless, self-serving cycle. She chased exclusive VIP parties, free luxury vacations, and designer clothes, constantly pursuing the next neurological high. To maintain that status, the people around her became disposable stepping stones. She lied to her followers and burned bridges to secure massive brand deals, curating a flawless image to hide a ruthless reality. This diagram maps the dopamine debt, a psychological loop of action, reward, and escalating risk. To maintain satisfaction, risks become extreme. Watch when it spirals out of control. Mia promoted a known scam retreat to millions of followers just to fund a new penthouse. A life built on external rewards and digital validation demands a moral compromise that eventually destroys the user. When the wellness scam collapsed, it made international news instantly. Thousands of her followers were stranded, bankrupted, and physically endangered. The authorities stepped in, and the illusion shattered. Her bank accounts were frozen. Influencer friends deleted every shared photo. She was dragged into federal court, facing millions in restitution and a guaranteed decade in prison. Behavioral science typically relies on a very straightforward model of human action. We operate on two basic incentives: chasing a reward, like money and clout, or avoiding a negative consequence, like a decade behind bars. If human behavior is strictly a calculation of risks and rewards, what happens when the ultimate negative consequence is mysteriously removed? During her sentencing, Mia stood in a massive federal courtroom with absolutely no defense. She had ruined lives for the sake of a payout. Her ruin was mathematically certain. She accumulated a legal and moral debt she couldn't possibly pay, and she had run out of people to manipulate. Then, the doors opened. In walked a man named David. He ran a quiet, under-the-radar nonprofit rescuing victims of financial scams. Mia had repeatedly mocked him on her streams, calling him broke and irrelevant. Mia's transactional world of empty wealth had utterly failed her. David's world of quiet, invisible sacrifice was about to rewrite her reality. David approached the bench with a stack of documents. He had liquidated his organization's endowment, sold his family estate, and emptied his personal accounts. Every single victim of Mia's scam was refunded in full. David's money satisfies the financial debt, but paying it off does not satisfy the law. Someone must serve the criminal sentence. David held out his hands to the bailiff, signing a confession as the silent partner, willingly taking her prison sentence. A completely paralyzed Mia asked him why. David told her he was taking the fall because she was drowning in a hollow life, and simply because he loved her. By offering a gift of immense value that she hadn't earned and could never repay, David dismantled the transactional world she had spent her life building. Mia walks out of the courthouse into the bright afternoon sun. Legally and financially, her slate is completely clean. She owes no money, and she has no criminal record. Then, her phone buzzes. A text pops up from a shady promoter offering a VIP table in Vegas tonight, a chance to spin her narrow escape into a lucrative comeback story. Behavioral logic dictates a predictable outcome here. Since the threat of jail is gone and she is completely free, she should immediately return to chasing the dopamine at the club. But she does not take the offer. She doesn't delete the text out of fear of being caught again. She deletes it because the staggering cost of David's reckless grace makes the things she used to love look like poison. The weight of David's sacrifice shifted her baseline. Her behavior is no longer a calculation of how much she can get away with, but a response to a freedom that cost someone else everything. This courtroom substitution mirrors the precise mechanism of the gospel outlined in 1 John 4:19. We love because he first loved us. Jesus stepped into our spiritual bankruptcy, our obsession with screens, money, and our own status, and willingly took the full weight of our sentence. We do not obey God to avoid the punishment of hell. We obey because the cross exposes exactly how cheap our selfishness actually is, and how infinitely valuable his love is. This is the motivation inversion. When we stop chasing the next hit and start living in the light of that sacrifice, our online and offline worlds are no longer tools for our own status, but mirrors of the love that saved us.